Hi, this is Rod with Custom Chronicles. In today's video, we're going to shoot candy paint. We're going to do candy Oriental blue over silver. Most candies people like are over silver or the light golds. And so anyways, we're going to get into it. I'm going to show you how to do the candy paint job the way I kind of do it, which is a little bit different than other people. But I'm going to go through it and show the process of spraying. I'm sure people aren't going to be happy about how I do it, but the end result is what matters. And that's what I'm trying to show here is that, again, you don't have to do things. You can make adjustments. And I'm doing this in this shop that I have over here and coming out with show quality paintwork. It's just because I'm taking the time to do so. And so anyways, let's get into it. I'm sure people don't really particularly want to hear me talk. I'm going to get spraying this candy. Get the silver base down first, and I'm using all House of Color paint, and I'll show that everything that I'm using. Now here's what I'm using right there. Oriental blue, House of Color, and then the Silver Max right there, RU311. I'm using this right to the edge of the high temp range on this, because I want it to kick fast. And then I'm using KU100 in the Oriental right there. And then I'm also using UC35. And then I'll follow up with UFC, the Flow Clear 35 on the final. And that's the products I'm using. It's what I use. I'm not paid by House of Color in any way, shape, or form. It's been what I'm using for years. And I'm also using the Wacom Geo. This is an older gun, but I'm so comfortable spraying candy with it that I'm sticking to it. But I am fixing to do an upgrade on some of the newer stuff. And there it is. That's what I'm using to spray, the product and the gun. I won't get into the details on the gun here, like the air pressure and all that, because it varies on your environment, so there's no point in talking about it. And I'm not going to do a gun setup, but there it is. All right, there we go. Here's the Orion Silver. And fresh can. Make sure you get it stirred up nice and good. I'm making a mess already, which is normal for me. But look at that. That's not even mixed good. You know, a lot of this you need to do very thoroughly up front. Makes your job easier and better down the line. And it's just basically trying to keep a consistent work habits, which around here I tend not to do. What I'm going to do is I had a little bit in this can here. I'm going to pour it into this can and mix it, all together, and we'll just call it the way it is. But man, look at that.
Okay, hopefully you can hear me muffled. Gonna go ahead and start laying down the base silver. I'm gonna take my time. You just want to start getting it on there. We're not in a race to get this done. We're in a race to do it right. So there it is. Nice and gravy. Now I'm gonna layer it on. And make sure you get low spots. Come over through the fender. The air compressor will probably kick on. That's fine. I'll just shut up because they're going to hear me anyway. Laying the silver on. It's one of the problems I have with my facilities is I don't have any room to work. I don't have a very big facility. I can't afford one. And so I make do with what I got. And just kind of getting this on. Now I'm going to let this sit. You can kind of see the grain already building up. And then I get more consistent in my movements. And be very careful about overlaps and everything, and make sure we got it nice and even. I'm going to let that sit a couple minutes, and we'll get on, spray more on.
Okay, we're spraying down some more silver. My first little segment, you could barely hear me talking because I wasn't loud enough, so I'm going to be kind of going at it. Hopefully the air compressor doesn't turn on, but I'm just going to get into spraying. Okay, I've got those 3 coats of Orion silver on now. It's looking pretty good. Now, I'm just kind of quickly examining, everything here. Make sure I got it sprayed. It's actually kind of a complicated part. It's got a lot of round edges and whatnot. And there's some pressing in the metal back here. That looks like a drip, but it's not. Look at the fender, looks pretty even, but we're going to do something to make sure that everything's even. I'm going to do a drop coat on this, and if you're not familiar with what a drop coat is, it's something that the old timers used to do, is they'd kind of put the air pressure up just a pinch, hold the gun back, and just layer the paint on very gently. And the reason we're going to do that on this is make sure the metallic's nice and even. And so anyways, that's why you do it, and I'll show you that next step. That's something, people can say, hey, well, if you're spraying it right in the first place, you wouldn't have that. Nothing's worse than walking up to a candy paint job and see blotching, and that's in the base coat. Or, you know, you get these kind of sags and stuff like that, and that would be in the candy coat. And I'm going to do something after the drop coat. I'm going to go through getting the candy on. I'm going to do something just a pinch different. It's the way I've been doing things for years. It works. It's not, we'll say, textbook essentially. And I'm sure there's other people do it. And it's not like I'm a genius or anything. But there we go. I'm going to do the drop coat. I'll show that, and then we'll get into the spraying on the candy. Okay, here goes the drop coat. Got the air pressure turned up just a little bit. I'll try to show it right here. And I'm holding the gun back. You know, you don't even see it in the frame. There it is there. And I'm just going to gently, I don't know if he's coming in, just kind of layering it on. That's what makes the metallic even. Now, I'm doing this for insurance because I don't want blotching. And you can kind of see it just layering it on. And make sure you get all the angles underneath. It makes it overspray everywhere. But now you see that? Look at that. I'm shining the light. There's nothing uneven about it. That metallic or grain. And we go underneath here a little bit more. I'm not happy with that. Let's see how that looks. That looks good. Get a little bit down here. And we can, you know, do this all day. And all it's doing is building up the metallic nice and even. Just double check that. Maybe cross hatch it too. Just different things that you can do. There it is. I'll do a little bit more. I'm not going to keep filming everything or videoing everything. And there it is. Okay, now we're going to take a look at it here. You can see how grainy that metallic is. And under that candy coat, it's going to look good. And you see that? Look at that. How light's picking it up. Just wonderful. And that's just taking the time to do it. And that's just a little extra step, and you can just see it sitting on there. Just wonderful, just even, everything's just even about that metallic. So you're not going to have any blotching underneath. Okay, here it is after dialing it in on the drop coat, and you can really see the metallic just layered up on there nice and even. So you won't have any blotching whatsoever underneath the candy, or when you're looking at it, you won't have like these weird blotches. And you know, that's the same thing with pearl. You kind of got to make sure it's nice and even, or you're going to have issues where it's just like dark spots or whatever. And here we are. It's nice and even all the way through. And there's tank here. You can just kind of really see how even that is. So, looking good. Next phase, getting the candy coat on. Okay, now we're doing the candy Oriental blue. This is the candy coat, the mid coat, or whatever you want to call it. Getting that stirred up. Got it stirred up real good. We're going to be putting it in this cup, and it's done by 2:1:1 is the ratio. There it is. For people who don't know. All right, we're going to go ahead. We don't need too much on there, I don't believe. I don't like to overmix because I can always make more. So I'm going to go to 3, and that would bring you, nah, 3's a little high. I'm going to do 2. 2, 2, and 2 right there. Because that 3 would be right there. I don't know if we need that much, so I'm going to do 2 on that. Kind of watching my process here. Get this mixed up. There it is. 2 right there. And then I'll do the catalyst and then the reducer. I'm not going to show that. All right, now what I do first, which is different than like what typically is taught with doing candy, is I'm just going to kind of dust some on here nice and light. I didn't do any adjustments to the paint gun's fan at all. And I will do the air pressure a little bit. Got to make sure I got it down. And I'm just going to start lightly putting it on. I don't want to try to build it up too much. I'm not trying to get it buried. And I'm just putting it on nice and light. And I'll run around and I'll do this. And it helps when it's flashing off a little bit. Just nice and even. I'm not trying to get the color built up so fast. I'm trying to have everything nice and even. That's why I do it this way. And I can come back. All right. I'll let it flow out. Not trying to make it, turn blue right away, because that's where people get into problems and get runs in the candies. They're trying to overdo it. And I've learned from making the mistakes over the years that that's not what you want to do. And I just kind of let that sit for a minute. See how that is? Not, got a little dark spot there, but that's not a big concern at this point. And there it is. Now give it a couple minutes, and then I'll come back and I'll do it again. Okay, we're taking a look at this here real quick. I'm trying to do this light so that we can see the grain, but the camera's not working out well. I'm going to change the light. All right, here's the grain of the candy, how it looks. Nice and even. That's from taking that extra step, and you can kind of see it's bright. right here on this fender. It looks beautiful. Just happens to be the way it's supposed to be. Wonderful. And there's that. And I can move the light around and you can see the grain consistency. There's no blotching whatsoever. And out in the sunlight, you're definitely not going to see anything of such nature, because I'm using a single directional light out there, but it'll really kind of throw the color up real nice too in the grain. But there we go. There's that. Next thing to do is get the clear on. Okay, we're getting down the last coat of candy here. We're going to get this put down. It's looking pretty good right now. This is really going to bring it up and make it look good. So just kind of get this on there. The floor is just blued out. Look at that. Look at that color. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up here. We're just going to get it wrapped up. Looks good. 75% overlap. Now it's dry down. And then we're going off to the clear. Air hose sounds horrible. All right, we're ready for the clear, so we're going to start getting the clear on. It's going to make this nice and deep and rich. So just tighten that up just a pinch. Look at that gloss. Yeah, you gotta, pay attention to this too. Do a good job on that. You want to get nice and wet looking. Check, make sure, yeah, it is a little dry down there. And look at that. Clear just does a number with this. Whew, looks good. Yeah, I could, move a little bit slower and stretch this out. Get it wet looking. Don't try to hammer it on with the candy, because then if you get a run, you have an issue. Looks good. 2 more coats. Okay, here it is. All finished up. I'm going to sand all this clear down, and we're going to do graphics over top of candy. It looks wonderful, nice and grainy. Gets different light here. See if I can show us out. It's just wonderful. Came out absolutely spectacular as far as I'm concerned. Everything's nice and even. Nice and just the way it's supposed to be. There it is. Next video coming up. If you do like this content, you like what I'm doing, please subscribe to the channel if you've made it this far in the video. Leave me a comment. A thumbs up would be appreciated. And that's it for now. Graphics are next on this project here.